The Joe Rogan podcast has over 2,000 episodes. These episodes all have anywhere between 2 to 5 hours of length where they're just talking. And with over 2,000 guests, it's bound to go wrong sometimes. And today we're going to be taking a look at Joe Rogan's most intense moments on the Joe Rogan podcast. We're going to start this off with Iliza Shlesinger. When the topic shifted to politics, it led to this happening right here.
I liked Elizabeth Warren. She's
Why?
Cool.
What?
I just like I liked her. I like her tenacity. Yeah, but okay, who isn't?
Yeah, Bernie Sanders.
Okay, but did you vote for Bernie?
He wasn't available to vote for.
Did you vote in the?
I didn't vote for in the primary.
In the primaries, right?
Yeah.
I did.
But I had him on my podcast, and he was very sincere.
Okay, cool. I've had my mom on my podcast. You want to flex?
I think he's very sincere. I think he...
While Joe tried to bring everything back to normal, the tone for the interview was already set, as later when they were talking about the Rock's eating diet, it led to this happening as well.
That's fucking pretty indulgent.
I don't know. Something about it. Because the peanut butter, you could, like, that's my protein. Something about it.
I don't know. He likes peanut butter. Maybe it's just in your head. Maybe you need to let it go.
You trying to gaslight me?
What is your...
I'm trying to food shame this man. You trying to gaslight me?
Now, while this podcast had everyone on a level head, the same can't be said for this next one, where Joe Rogan was interviewing an actor named Stephan Crowder. While Joe Rogan is in support of marijuana legalization, the same can't be said for Stephan Crowder. And when these two conflicting opinions clashed, it caused this right here to happen.
Keep marijuana illegal. There's absolutely pharmaceutical companies have done the same thing. It was revealed in the WikiLeaks memos.
See, this is where I was saying
hold on, don't interrupt me, you fuck. Where Hillary Clinton said...
But another thing that we just wrote about, and again, people get mad with the weed issue. Well, no, traffic fatalities regarding marijuana have skyrocketed.
Google that, because that's nonsense.
No, we wrote about it
drunk driving arrests have dropped. What do you mean you've... First of all...
Yeah, we wrote about what the sources are, the original studies.
Just because someone gets in an accident and they're high...
See,
because... Hold on, stop.
No, hold on a second. This is
you
because
interrupt way too much. You need to stop.
You talk
hold
in
on
paragraphs.
A second. No. I don't talk in paragraphs. I make full points.
In states where it's been decriminalized
Let's
or legalized.
go with Colorado. Pull it up, Jamie.
Hold on a second. You just said, let me make my point. Again, my point is, I don't care about it.
Yeah, you do.
No, I really don't.
You don't care about
here's
people
the thing.
dying?
You get
son of a bitch.
You get so... You know what? If people want to smoke up, fine. Does matter. The fact
damaging?
That you said that, no, let me finish my point. It does matter. You said, what would you not talk about? I said, probably pot because I don't care. Well, what do you think about it?
You definitely
I said,
care. That's
this
why
is
you're
what I
arguing
think
with me
about
it.
And your eyes
Lying.
light up. And all of a sudden,
Bitch.
we're ideology and...
Now, while it might seem like things are getting tense here, it only gets worse.
Of something, whether it's the most beneficial
I am.
or equally
I
beneficial,
just said I am.
but you're not necessarily because
I
you're denying.
But because right now of the chemical compounds.
Hold on, fuckface. You're denying.
Watch it. Come on. It's been a good conversation.
We're friends. I'm just joking. Since marijuana legalization, highway fatalities in Colorado are at near historic lows.
You haven't bringing up the source that you want to find.
Washington
Bring
Post.
up the study right there. Yeah, Washington Post. Bring up the study that we wrote. We wrote about it on our website.
Look, I don't care about your website, you fuck. Since marijuana legalization, highway fatalities in Colorado
Since you
are
called me
at
hold on a second.
near
Since you called me a
lows.
fucking pussy, you do this with the crazy lady at Comedy Club.
While Joe Rogan was clearly in control of the situation here, the same can't be said for this next one where he was interviewing Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson was preparing to go on his next fight at the time, and he was focused and training, and it led to this moment right here.
Want me to tell you something about that video?
Yeah.
I did that video and I was in bed for a week. That was 30 seconds and I was in bed for a week. And it's not funny because it made me realize that this is big boy shit, okay?
Big boy shit.
This big boy shit. You was
There
out,
it is right there.
Yeah, that wasn't really cool. That's in the gym.
But saying that it gets you orgasmic. That's a strange thing to say.
Well, that's just what I want. I wanted to find out because you're really bright. And I thought you would figure it. No, I'm being very serious.
No, I know. I know you're being serious, but I mean, no one will understand that.
The right person needs to tell it to me, too.
Who the fuck's going to say that to
Well,
you?
they do. Hey. I listen. Where was I? Was somewhere around? Listen, if that's not somebody on drugs, you tell me. No, you tell me. Now, be honest. If that's not somebody high, you tell me.
While Joe Rogan respectfully had Mike Tyson have his way in this one, the same can't be said when he was interviewing Candace Owens and the topic reached on the subject of climate change.
And
you don't think we have to care about the environment? Like,
no, not even a little bit. Like,
not even a little bit?
No. Okay, let me clarify this. I don't throw trash on the ground. Like, okay. I'm not saying like we need to trash the environment. Like, but do I believe in climate change? No.
Most scientists, the vast majority, agree that human beings are negatively affecting climate change.
Yeah.
The vast majority.
Yeah, I just don't think so.
2014, the vast majority, 87% of scientists, said that human activity is driving global warming, yet only half the American public ascribe to that view. So,
well, what website is
87%, and this is
Scientific American.
Yeah.
Yeah, .com though, like 'cause that means it's making money. I don't trust that. If it was a .org, I would probably take that. But this is just a random website, and I don't trust.
Scientific American is not necessarily a random website.
Yeah, I don't believe this like at all. Just so you know.
You don't believe it like at all?
I genuinely don't believe it. I know you do, but I genuinely don't believe it.
They're doing a study.
But do you remember all of the stories that came out about the scientists that said that when they tried to present their evidence to show, like they were basically just getting shut down at every corner? You can pull that up too. Like scientists who look up the opposite, right? Instead of looking for what you're searching for, looking for what you're not looking for.
I didn't search for it. That's what I found when I searched it.
Sorry.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, but what I'm saying is that you're a very smart person, and people listen to you, and they're going to listen to you for a long time.
But this is what I hate. This is what I hate.
But hold
because
on,
then it's
let me
like,
finish
Candace,
what
you
I'm
have
saying.
to have a formed opinion on everything.
No, you don't have to have a formed opinion on everything. What you do have to have is the ability to know when you don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
But I just said that. I said that to you the entire time.
I
said
this would.
I said I don't believe it. And then you asked me, and I said this wouldn't be the hill I chose to die on because I don't.
Right, but why
follow
even
it.
say you don't believe in it?
Because I just personally, if you.
How about not have a belief until you really have looked at the
Okay, so you
data?
would prefer if my language, as opposed to admitting that I do not know this, I wouldn't die until I've never made a video, I've never made a public statement. You would have preferred if I had just started by saying, I have no opinion.
No, I don't know.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. You say
but I said I didn't know.
No, you say I don't believe in it.
Yeah.
Now, while this last argument had the pair reaching some kind of solution, the same can't be said for this next one, which was just straight up awkward. Joe Shilling decided to reveal some vulnerable information, and this is how Joe Rogan decided to react to it.
It was a really big fight for me. It was a really tough fight for me too. You know, it was a really bad camp. It was probably the worst camp of my career. My dad had passed away like 3 weeks before the fight, and then like 2 or 3 days after that.
Why does that look so shitty, Jamie?
My cousin passed away.
Like, pull it back. Is it our computer that's doing that?
Now that was awkward for sure, but here's what Joe Rogan is like when he's arguing with an actual friend of his. On this episode, he had Eddie Bravo, and when the topic reached on conspiracy theories, they started arguing heavily, and this is what it led to.
Dude, there's no pictures of the Earth from space, man.
What is that? We just looked at one, Eddie. Stop saying that.
It was fake.
You don't know that it's fake.
Okay.
But you're saying, look, it's a real problem when you say
crazy.
something. But don't say that. Just stop. Just stop and think. Because you're communicating to millions of people. And you're saying something that doesn't make any sense.
It does make sense.
But you don't know anything about imagery. You don't know anything about what. You don't know anything about that.
It looks fake to me. That's a fake ass picture.
But you don't have. Come on, Eddie. You're just looking at it with the naked eye. It looks real to everybody else in this room. I think you're coming at it with a confirmation bias.
Crazy, right?
I don't think it makes you crazy.
I'm just having fun with it.
But you have this direct inclination to always go towards a conspiracy.
It doesn't have
gives
to
your opinion.
piss anybody off.
It's a disservice
you should just
towards
be like,
your
hey,
opinion.
that's what you think, cool. No, it doesn't have to, like, you're getting angry about it.
No, I'm not getting angry at all.
Well, we're just being stoners here. We're being stoners. I'm like, I don't believe that shit.
I'm not raising my voice. What I'm trying to do is corner your ideas. I'm trying to corner your ideas.
Now, while this was rough arguing, this can be just excused as friends having friendly banter, as they are both, in the MMA world, and they know how to be rough with each other whilst still being friends at the end of the day. But the same can't be said for this next interview, where Joe Rogan was talking to Moxie Marlin Spike. The pair were having a disagreement on a bet, and this led to this very intense and awkward moment happening right here.
Really into rock, paper, scissors.
How into it are you?
I'm undefeated. Never lost.
How is that possible? Can we play right now?
You want to play?
Yes.
Oh, but I only play for stakes.
Okay. What do you want to play for?
Okay. How about if I win, I do the programming on your show for a week?
No. That's worth a lot of money. You can fuck off.
What kind of money? What do you think I'm going to do? I'm not saying like the ads or whatever. I'm saying
like programming, like who's going to be on.
Yeah, who's going to be on.
That's not possible. We're booked up months and months in advance.
You were so confident until just now.
No.
Pick a month, few months off.
That's ridiculous to flip a coin on that. There's no chance.
I mean, what would be?
Because then you'd make me have conversation. Listen, the whole reason why this show works is because I talk to people that I want to talk to. That's why it works.
Yeah.
The only
you gotta
way
risk something to play this game.
That's not a risk.
It's just 1 week of your
no.
life.
That's abandoning the show.
That's 1 week of your life.
No, you could bring some assholes on here that I don't want to talk to, and then I'm like, what am I doing? No, impossible.
All right. Well, do you think that there's something of equivalent value?
No.
There's nothing.
That?
Nothing that I can do.
There's nothing that you could give me that would be worth a week of programming on the show. What are you going to give me? You'd have to give me a spectacular amount of money. All right, sounds like someone's scared to lose at rock, paper, scissors.
It sounds like someone else is scared to lose it.
No, you're asking me for something that's ridiculous. You don't have anything. You don't have anything that's worth a week of programming on this show. You don't have it.
That's rough.
It doesn't exist.
That's rough.
No, it doesn't. It literally doesn't exist. Like there's There's nothing that you can have that you could offer me that I couldn't buy myself.
I'll make
I
think will be interesting. You'll enjoy talking with them.
You can't. No.
All right, fine. Okay.
But that doesn't do anything for me. That does something for you. That does zero for me.
You would have, if you win, you would name your stake.
I don't have a stake.
Okay.
There's nothing I want from you.
Right. Now, this next argument is between Joe Rogan and Matt Walsh. It's on the topic of gay marriage, and I'm actually curious to hear what you guys think on this topic. So I want you guys to leave me a comment below letting me know what you guys think.
I just don't see how a gay marriage in any way damages a straight marriage. I don't see it at all. It doesn't make any sense to me. It just seems to me that people want to be look, if you wanted to look at logic, especially in our modern society, which is pretty fucked when it comes to relationships, it's somewhere in the neighborhood of 50% of all marriages end in divorce anyway. They don't make it. You know, I don't know if anything would damage marriage and damage the institution of marriage is the option of divorce. I don't think gay people and gay people getting married in any way, shape, or form changes a bond that you have with your wife.
It's also true that the advocates for what we call now traditional marriage, which I just call marriage, but the advocates for traditional marriage put themselves at a disadvantage by especially in the churches, like allowing this rampant divorce to occur. And then you've already sort of given up on some marriage is supposed to be monogamous and permanent, as well as procreative. Well, you've given up monogamy and permanence, and so now it's not. That's two of the three legs gone, and so now this assault was waged on the procreative part of it, and it was difficult to withstand it because the institution had already been weakened. So I agree with you there, but my answer to that is to try to reinforce what marriage is, not to just give up on it entirely. And I still think you're left with this question of, like, if marriage is not what I'm saying it is, then why do we even need it? What's the point? I mean, you're saying it's a man-made institution.
Yes.
But you're also, like, the way that you're presenting it, it's a totally meaningless institution. So they don't need it at all.
No, it's not meaningless because it means something to the people that get married.
My favorite arguments on the Joe Rogan podcast are when he's having two different people argue and he's just there like a referee, kind of watching and trying to stabilize what happened. Like what happened in this episode where Gary Taubes and Stephan Guyenet, whatever, were arguing about diet nutrition.
We know that genetics has a strong impact on who has a greater susceptibility to body fatness than others, and we also know what the genes do that underlie those differences.
No, wait.
And they are primary. I'm not done, Gary. Let me finish.
I just want to read something from your book.
Those genes.
Can I read something from
Nope, not right now. I'm in the middle of saying something.
My body, and this is what Stephan is talking about. So I want to. Just the thing I wanted to read, I'll ask you the question, how much of the variation in human obesity do those genes explain?
So if you look at the genetics of...
No, I didn't ask how much is genetic.
Gary, I'm answering your question.
Once he starts talking, you got to let him talk.
Yeah, please, Gary. So if you knock out the leptin receptor only in the brain or only in the hypothalamus, you get obesity. So that is what tells us that actually the brain is the key site of action, and particularly this part of the brain.
It tells you the brain is a key site of action.
Please let him talk. He let you talk.
And then insinuating that makes the study bad. If you can't actually find a problem with the study itself, these were very rigorous studies. If you cannot point out
I
specific
gave you the problem with the study. It was designed with an assumption.
Okay.
It was designed based on the assumption it was supposed to test.
It wasn't designed how Gary wanted it to be designed. If you cannot find a problem with that study, then you can't just dismiss it by making these insinuations that the person had a conflict of interest, okay?
I explained to you the problem with the study.
That's great, Gary. Now,
I
let's
didn't
go back
realize
to the
Jim Hill had done it at the time.
All right, you're going to be able to respond in a moment. And so if you believe that insulin causes obesity, this should be happening immediately. You shouldn't have to wait months and months for this to occur.
Oh, no, that doesn't make any sense at all.
No, it does make sense.
Why?
Because
It
doesn't make sense to me.
You eat
Why
carbohydrate.
doesn't it make sense to you?
Well, because again, he's kind of making this up as he goes along.
Oh,
so the idea
Jesus.
is...
Well, explain why it doesn't make sense without insulting him, if that's possible.
Has he not been insulting me? Or am I just biased? I realize that everything is perspective.
I don't
but
necessarily think he's insulting your stories, not you personally.
You can see that was a very intense argument between two people who've studied their field very well, and the same can be said for this next one right here, where Graham Hancock and Flint Dibble were arguing about the younger Dryas theory and if there was really that impact that happened that wiped out everybody over 12,000 years ago. This is my favorite episode. This is like one of my favorite episodes in the entire Joe Rogan podcast because they were really ripping into each other and they weren't holding any bars.
Okay.
And perhaps we'll do that next, but I would just love to just complete this little point that I want to make here, which is the influence of Flint and his colleagues on media and culture. And again, we've got the Society for American Archaeology, 5,000 members. Flint is one. Flint's co-author, John Hoops, actually helped to write this letter for the Society of American Archaeology. They're saying that I embolden extreme voices that misrepresent archaeological knowledge in order to spread false historical narratives that are overtly misogynistic, chauvinistic, racist, and anti-Semitic. I mean, you apply those labels to somebody and you're going to get that person hated by a lot of people.
Whole ball.
Yeah,
I did not write that.
No, your co-author, John Hoops, wrote it. We urge Netflix to add disclaimers that the content is unfounded. They want it to be called science fiction. In other words, that's a very clever way of canceling me.
No.
Cancel culture at work.
Well, go back to that. Why would
and
someone...
here's Flint.
Graham, you're so much more of a celebrity than me.
Here's Flint. Netflix, correct. I'm sorry.
on.
I'm sorry that I am, Flint. That's not really my problem. Hey,
saying I have
Netflix.
this power.
Hey, Netflix, correct your mistake and reclassify Ancient Apocalypse as fantasy. Netflix corrects your mistakes. This is you pushing this, Flint. And then the general media fishy
Twitter
Netflix
accounts?
show, Ancient Apocalypse, is the most dangerous show on Netflix. You used the word dangerous
Where?
repeatedly in your conversation piece.
I don't think so. I don't think I've ever called you dangerous, Graham. No, you started off Ancient Apocalypse by calling us patronizing and arrogant.
Archaeologists see me as public enemy number one. That's
you
exactly
started
what
off by saying we're not sitting around thinking about you. Most of my dad's colleagues, when I mentioned I'm coming on here to do this, they had no idea you talk about the Ice Age. They
I'm
thought you
speaking
talked
of
about
archaeologists
pyramids.
like you, Flint, who see me as public enemy number one and who have quite a substantial outreach in the media. Unilad,
right here.
pseudo-archaeology, as Dibble calls it, acts to reinforce white supremacist ideas. Flint Dibble interview, Ancient Apocalypse, Graham Hancock, and conspiracy theories. I mean, what the fuck is the conspiracy theory? That archaeologists are conspiring against me, which I've never said or ever suggested.
You claim we're trying to hide the evidence,
No,
just
I
like
don't.
with Clovis First. We
Okay.
shut down all the alternative narratives.
Tell
That's
me
a conspiracy
where,
theory.
Hang on, tell me where I've claimed that you hide the evidence.
You have claimed many times that we try to shut down alternative narratives, that we try to silence them. That suggests there's an archaeological conspiracy where we're all working together.
Right, but are you denying that he was attacked for the very thing that you're saying archaeologists don't do?
No, but I'm denying there's a coordinated attack.
Now, you like to present yourself as this small, lone voice, but frankly, by comparison with big archaeology, as you call it in your so-called scare quotes, by comparison with that, my outreach is very small, even on Netflix.
Graham, I was hoping we'd have a respectful conversation.
Yes, I was hoping that you would not disrespect me in the way that you've done.
I came here to
by
present actual
associating-
evidence, and I've done that.
Here you have Dibble exhorted colleagues to mobilize worldwide in the battle against pseudo-archaeology. If there's any conspiracy here, who's it against? Let's move on. Next one, Flint.
Are you having fun?
The ball's in your court.
The ball's in my court.
Yeah, go ahead. Say something. Say something interesting. Say something new.
say something interesting
Well,
and new.
this is
like
not
I came
productive
here
way
to have a
communicate.
respectful
Yeah.
conversation. I want to be very clear about this, Graham. I have critiqued the sources that you have used, and I've critiqued the evidence that you use. I have only met you for the first time today, so I do not know how you are as a person or how you treat other people. And so, to be honest, I think that you've just tried to go and smear me back for what you see as a smear on yourself. Fair enough. That's okay.
I'm just presenting facts.
And that's it for this video, guys. These are the most intense Joe Rogan podcast moments. Let me know if there's actually any moments that I missed down below in the comments. And with that being said, peace, guys. See y'all in the next video.